What is up, everybody? Happy New Year, and welcome back to the GZ Chop Shop podcast. I'm your host, Projektitachi, joined by my good friend co-host, Warnurse, and it is now officially 2025. It's January, and I'm actually proud of us. We're actually getting started a little earlier than we normally do. As the years progress, I feel like we're finally getting that rhythm going, like we're making progress. Our New Year's resolution is just bringing you guys amazing podcast episodes as soon as possible all through the year. And that's what we're going to do. Something that Warnurse and I had talked about towards the end of last year that we wanted to do was start highlighting and getting back into our roots of games and getting, more involved with the indie community and studios and developers and all of that. We're actually going to be starting that like right now. So I want to say first, thank you to all of the devs who've been bringing us their games and have been, sending us the keys. I didn't get a lot of time towards the end of last year to play as many games as I wanted to because it got really, really busy. It was the end of the year, it was the holidays. We were wrapping up things for, our sponsors and, trying to get the episodes out. And the game keys were coming in, and I was like, oh man, I got to get through these games. And I got to cover a little bit of one game here and there. But I said, you know what? As soon as I get some time, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to start going through these games. And for our first episode of 2025, I already have one favorite coming right out of the gate. I think you're going to love it because it's a Mech game. I know you're huge into Mech games and Mech lore.
Yeah, when you told me that you were playing a Mech game and liked it, I was so mad. I was really mad because I've been trying to get you to play BattleTech and Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries and then Mech Warrior 5 Clans recently. But I've been trying to get you to play Mech Warrior with me for like 3 years, and you just hop on this new game and have a blast in VR. I'm salty.
So to be fair,
I hope you die in combat.
I think it was the intricacies of Mech Warrior that was keeping me at bay.
It is it's very detailed and very specific.
Yeah. It's a true Mech game from, the moment you see your mech, hop in your mech and go into combat. It's not Armored Core. Armored Core is punishing, but it's fast paced. It's more Gundam-like than what I would say as close to realistic Mech game would be, which is Mech Warrior. Mech Warrior is more grounded. It's more information you got to retain, more buttons you got to memorize.
Yes, it's more RPG and or strategy based, depending on the type of like the version of the game you're playing.
So with that in mind, I received a key, which, by the way, thank you so much to the developers, Black Beach Studio, for providing us a key to the game Iron Rebellion, which is on Steam. So if you guys are curious, you can go on Steam and check it out. And I just got to say, I'm in love with this game. Now, it is a VR only game, and actually that is a really good thing in my opinion, because that you can tell that these devs, and there's only 3 people working on this game. There's only 3 of them. And you can tell they truly love Mech games. They know what Mech games are supposed to be, the true essence of it. And from the moment I booted it up, I didn't know what to expect. I went in, after they sent the key and I looked over, and everyone's good at making trailers look good. When you're promoting a game, you're not going to promote a crappy trailer. So I'm thinking, okay, it looks flashy, it looks good, but so have AAA games, and then they've come out and it's kind of been like, eh. But when I said the trailers live up to what the game actually was, they do. So when you get into the game right from go, in a typical Mech game fashion, you were in a combat situation that I guess apparently had disabled your mech. So of course That's the tutorial to get it all fired up, how to get your mech going and get it all fired up. And you literally, in VR, you have to toggle your switches. Like,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah. Like, you got to get your overhead, you got your AI talking to you in your co-pilot AI talking to you in your ear, and you got to toggle your switches to turn on. And then you got to get your throttles and get yourself situated, how your weapons operate. And I'm using the MetaQuest 2, and it worked amazing with it. And I felt like I was operating a mech, because you can be lazy in it. You know how like most VR games, people find the way to just be lazy and just sit down and do most of their stuff. Well, you can sit down. This is mainly obviously a sit down game. You're in a mech, but the range of motion, you can't just use your wrists. Like, you have to move from your elbow to move your mech, to
Like over to
turn
the
your
other
mech.
side of the console and like move
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And it just so detailed in your mech, from picking up the ammo to repairs. That's what blew my mind. I get into the field, I learn how to set up a private lobby, which at first I was a little scared, because I was like, was this just a PvP game? Because there was lobbies and people playing. I'm like, I'm not trying to drop in. But you can set up a private lobby with AI bots and just get used to the game that way, which was amazing. And how to get your ammo and everything is involved. You have to do everything. You walk over to an ammo box, you have to basically receive that ammo box. Like, you have to walk over to it, take your hand off of one of your controls, pull a lever to receive your ammo. But what I love the most, and I want to get better at it, I want to get faster at it, is how you repair your mech. This is where I was like, man, Warner, she would love this. This gives me like, I'm like, this feels more in line with like Mech Warrior. You have to go to a repair station. This is in the middle of combat. And you have to find a repair station, receive the repair kit, and then you have to find the compartments that are damaged. There's 4 compartments at the top, usually like all your critical systems at the top. And you have to push the button for the system you want repaired, which means if you push the wrong system, one that's already fixed, that's, you waste your kit, you're going to have to start it all over. And you have to push the system that's in critical repair, put your mech in safe mode, which means you can't do any combat. You're a sitting duck. And then you have to wait for the repair bots to fix that section of your mech you've selected before you can go back into combat and do your thing. And at first I was like, oh, how's this like that? That's so bad in a good way, because bad, like you're a sitting duck in the middle of a war zone, and good because it's like, oh wow, you're like really involved in your mech. Like this isn't handed to you. This isn't like a hot button you just hit and your mech's magically repaired. No, you got to go find those spots, fix your mech to get back out there. And I'm like, I love that. And it's just, it's graphically amazing for a VR
How's the
game.
combat?
The combat, well, first of all, the AI is punishing. Like, I had the bots on easy, and it's probably because I was still practicing. But when I was hitting my targets, it felt good. Like it felt like my weapons were delivering the punch they were supposed to be delivering, when, my mid-range, long-range weapons were supposed to be hitting targets at those ranges. It registered. It felt right. Maneuverability is there. You got your jump thrusters. You've got different mech types that operate at, different speeds, can jump at different heights, can do different things. So
Can you do
I
like
pretty
any
much went in with the default
custom
stuff.
builds or anything?
What?
Can you do any custom builds or anything?
So the custom builds is on their roadmap. Like,
Okay.
it's on their plans, so that down the road you can
I mean,
paint
that's a pretty
and do more.
intricate thing to add to a mech game anyways.
Yeah, that's like towards the end of the roadmap. They're going to also allow mods in the game, which I don't know how that's going to work, being that a huge part of it is the multiplayer. So I'm guessing mods will be like for private lobbies or whatnot, but they're planning to have a big, huge mod kit, customization. They able to paint more mech types. I think right now they only have about 4, maybe 5, which is for a game that just came out of early access is actually pretty good. I think they had their early access in November with a more public release in this past December. So it's still very, very new. And it looks really good and it runs really, really well. I was very surprised that this was coming from a studio of only 3 people. And I'm like, well, what are these big studios doing? You know, this is a top-notch VR game. And I was completely floored by it. I was like, I haven't played anything.
Yeah, this game's got to be pretty decent if you got into it being a Mech game, because I've tried for years to get you to play Mech games, and it's been, if it's not Armor Core, it's been like pulling teeth. So this game must be pretty good.
I've always felt like mech games have always meant to be a VR experience to get you more involved in.
But MechWarrior and BattleTech, they don't have VR. They have mods for VR, and I've heard they're pretty good. I've never personally tried them. I don't have a VR headset.
I honestly do think if you're a PC gamer, you are doing yourself a disservice by either not having a Steam Deck or a VR headset.
What I am able to do is because I have 3 monitors, I'm able to do like an ultra wide view.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts me like in a cockpit.
Closer in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Kind of. And see, I only have like my one ultra wide monitor.
Unfortunately, it's also iffy because when you have 3 large monitors going on like one massive screen, when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it's very glitchy and like pop-ups.
So many issues.
Stuff, yeah.
You get a Windows
when
pop-up
it's
on your
up,
far
though, it looks
right.
really cool. It's like this 3 layered, like it's like being in the cockpit. I don't know like what the middle between VR and non-VR is, but it's close. That's about as close as I can get.
Yeah. I think honestly, like I said, I like that Iron Rebellion is a VR only game. I'm sure down the road they will try to appease people who just can't handle VR but might still want to, play the game in their own way.
If it's only a VR, I've noticed this about a lot of VR only games. They put a lot more detail and attention into certain aspects of the game that don't really get that attention when it's both. Because when it's both, the attention is still on the regular game, and then the VR just kind of gets like
put to the side,
a slap on that's like kind of like hit or miss.
I think they went in the right direction by focusing on VR for this one, and then if they make it flat screen, that is the afterthought. I think what they're doing is right.
I'm glad to see more and more VR only games are coming out. I think that the future of gaming over the next 20 years is we're going to be seeing a huge explosion in VR only games.
I would love to see that, and I understand that.
Shangri-La Frontier, man. You just put on a headset and go play a game.
Yeah, Shangri-La Frontier. And you know what? Iron Rebellion had me thinking in that because I'm like, there was points talking about attention to details and just good details when I was sitting in the hangar bay. And I just was looking up at the skylight, and it was a rainy scenery in the futuristic city. And I just sat there and admired it. Like I wasn't in combat. I was just admiring the details.
Do you have to keep up with like the heat buildup of your mech too?
No. So they don't have like overheating, but you also can't just go in guns a-blazing. You do have to pay attention to your ammo. You will run out of ammo
and cooldown time still and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just no heat buildup.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad they don't have a heat buildup thing because
that's a huge
ration
handicap.
Yes,
that's really nice.
Because I was if you've
Get
got
that auto shutdown. You're like, not in the middle of combat.
right. So it is definitely also very team focused, which I am a fan of, because basically, unless you come in there and for some reason you are a godsend of a Gundam pilot and just know how to play VR mech games, you're going to get wrecked if you try to go out there and be Captain Solo Dolo. And when you got to go and you have to repair your mech, or you need to go and resupply, you're going to have to communicate with your team. And you're going to have to know the map. You're going to have to know how to take cover, because you can't just, I'm going to repair my mech right in the middle of the open. You're going to have 2 rockets flying at your face.
Don't say anything, and you look up and your buddy's like a whole mile away, just causing problems.
Yeah. And like I said, when I was just playing against the AI, I was getting my butt kicked, but I was getting kills, but I was getting my butt kicked. Also, a feature that they have that I love how they do the zoom on their weapons, because I was like, well, how does the zoom work? Like, is my mech going to is there going to be like a hollow screen? And it kind of is. It's like a hollow screen that just pops up in the middle and it zooms in. And I'm like, that is so cool. And in VR, it was amazing. And when I hit a target in my scope, it was registering. And I was just like, this is great. I love this. I love this so much. I love the feel. I love the response. And one feature they have that I hope they can work in is they are looking in implementing HOTAS to work with their game, if possible.
Like being in VR, but then also using the HOTAS. That would be a very new, like unprecedented way to use VR with like full immersion. That's another step closer to just putting on a headset and then jumping into a world without having to touch anything. All that Neuralink type stuff.
I mean, I don't know if I want to do the Neuralink part. Like, I don't want to be in a Sword Art Online situation. But Iron Rebellion has definitely made me kind of go, I'm with it. I'm with it. And if they get HOTAS implemented in there, for anyone who doesn't know, HOTAS hands-on throttle and joystick. I have that set up. I used it mainly for Star Citizen. And we won't talk about Star Citizen. Anyway, but when they said that, I was like, dude, that would be amazing. Like, because then you turn your computer area into your mech. It would be perfect, because most people have that set up like on their chairs. They'll build custom holsters on the arms of their chairs for that setup.
Yeah, some of the setups online are pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'm like, if they
very
somehow
expensive.
Yeah, they're super expensive. So mine is just sitting on my desk like the poor gamer that I am. But I'm like, that would be amazing. And I am totally for that. I think I can see where they would have issues, because there's different variants of HOTAS that people use. Some people use the dual joystick. Some people, like me, have the joystick and the throttle. So it would be hard for them to cover every variation of.
The best way to do it would probably be like a very specific brand.
Yeah.
And then have it implemented into the VR.
Yeah.
So that brand only. I mean, it sounds kind of limiting, but for something that hasn't really been done yet, it's the correct course of action, I think. Just one brand. That's pretty cool though, man. Like joysticks and with VR working together, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I am absolutely for it. The sound design was pretty good. Like, I was getting like a little scared, because the explosions, they weren't like quiet explosions. They were loud. Like, when your mech was getting hit, you were hearing it. And the game was letting you know, hey, you're getting wrecked. You need to do something. So it's a very good game. I highly recommend if you guys have a gaming PC, grab yourself a Quest 2. Like you don't even have to grab your PC can almost be a potato. I don't remember the requirements off the top of my head, but you don't need a 4090. You don't even need a 2060.
I mean, full disclosure, you don't need a 4090 for a single game.
Yeah.
It's such a overpriced, unnecessary card.
So
That's a whole other topic.
even if you've got like a potato PC, you could run this. And like I said, I feel like the future of VR is now. And these indie devs, they're putting it in the work. If you love mech games, do yourself a service. Check this out. Iron Rebellion. It's an amazing game. And once again, thank you, Black Beach Studio, for giving us a key to try out your game. I am super excited for it. I can't wait to see what they are going to bring in the future. I have thoughts, and I think that they would be amazing. And these aren't things that they have on their roadmap, just things I would like to see happen in the future on a game like this, especially with everyone adding AI to everything. I think that Iron Rebellion is a perfect candidate to add like a legitimate AI co-pilot that like gives you updates on what's happening in the game, especially with multiplayer and with everything they're going to be adding and updating with the multiplayer. I think an AI co-pilot you could interact with to a certain extent, like a very focused co-pilot, would be an amazing thing. For example, in the heat of combat and your teammates pinned down, you're coming in to cover them, your left gun gets blown out, but you've got a backup repair kit. While you're trying to cover your teammate and get out of a situation, you could command your AI pilot to start repairing that system, like a voice command, like, so-and-so, repair this system. I think that would be a cool feature, especially with, it's a futuristic game and we're in the era of AI and it's already in VR. Like, I think that would be a cool opportunity to add more immersion into a game like this. That's just my 2 cents. That's just my thought because, like I said, you already kind of have the co-pilot, but it's your default voice in your ear built into the game co-pilot. And I was just thinking, I was like, man, this would be cool if I could like have my AI co-pilot take some of those responsibilities, like tell her to scan the area for friendlies or hostiles, because it is very easy to lose track of your teammates in the field because they only get that little green arrow above their head, and in the heat of combat, if they run off, you're not gonna know where they went to. But the enemy will find you, that's for sure. Especially if you're playing in a private lobby. Oh man! But I just think that'd be a great opportunity to see something come down in the future for the game. Who knows? I don't know, but I think they're doing an amazing job right now up front. So guys, do yourself a favor, check it out. Iron Rebellion. It's available on Steam. Totally worth it. I didn't think I was going to start 2025 with such a banger of a game. Like, I was pretty hyped up after I played that, and I was like, I don't know if anything else is going to live up to that expectation. Like, I bought another VR game, Metro. I haven't played it yet, but I was kind of like fired up, and I was like, I need more mech games. Like, I need another VR mech game now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, buddy. I will.
Like, maybe if I get a mod, and then like they have a mod for VR, right?
They do.
Yeah, maybe I'll do the VR mod, and then I'll be a little bit.
I don't think there's one for clans yet, but there is one for mercenaries.
Yeah, I'll probably look into the few times because I'm weird about mods. Like anybody that has talked to me, you guys know I'm like weird about mods. Because what happens, and I hate this, I'll go on Google and I'll be looking up, what's happening in the gaming world. And then they'll say like, oh, like recently they'll be like, until Night Rain releases, play Elden Ring. And it'll be this crazy title. And I'm like, as an Elden Lord, I think I would know if Elden Ring had an update or something. And then I'll go and it's just a mod. And I'm like, see, that's false hope because you.
So the mods in the BattleTech universe are not like that. Most of the mods are quality of life things that are just improved, things that are in the game, but they're improved upon. And they're mech variants that are added by other modders that are mechs from other games or other areas that just aren't in this game that people particularly like, but they don't change the game itself. They're not like OP or underpowered or anything like that. And then there's some things like, bigger explosions or, stuff like that, but nothing that's like that takes away. Most of it just adds immersion to the game.
That quality of life things, I'm
And
totally
a lot
for.
of it adds more lore to the game because there is more lore that could have been added to it. And a lot of the BattleTech community they're very similar to the Warhammer community in their passion. So any mods, for the most part, that are added from the community and from Steam directly is where you get them. Most of them are passion mods, or stuff to just quality of life.
Yeah,
and
see,
most
like
of them
those
add
kind
to
of
the
mods I'm
game in
for.
some way.
Yeah, I
Most
have no
of
problem
them.
with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably look into it. What I'll probably do is like when I need to get hyped up to play MechWarrior, I'll just play some Iron Rebellion beforehand to get that hype built up. Like I can see it on your face. You're just like, yeah, been trying for 3 years.
I have like 2,000 years of lore in my head, and I'm just like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I said, I think I just needed to get that warm up.
I've
like,
turned into like a BattleTech elitist, and I don't mean to be. I love the universe. That's all it is. I feel the same way about Warhammer.
I get it. I'm like that way with Elden Ring. I'm like, okay, but did you try? Did you look at the lore? Like anytime I see people, they're like, I don't get it. I'm like, okay, but do you know the lore?
Which reminds me, I am in New Game Plus 4, and I need to continue that journey.
Yeah. You can't run away from Radon forever.
These New Game Plus 4 creatures, man, they hit hard. I came in the World 4 and like I had just a regular knight smack me. I'm like, the fuck? Bitch,
Yep.
I'm level 315. You don't get to hit me like that. And he did.
He was like,
and then like
no.
I smacked him and he kind of took it, and I was like, wait a second.
Let's talk about it. Yeah. But anyway, that's all the time we've got for this episode. I plan to do more episodes like this through the year. Because like I said, I got a ton of keys to get through. So expect probably for the rest of this month, there's going to be a indie game highlight. So if you guys are looking for something like the AAAs have been letting you down, or you think they're all repetitive, tune in, because we've got plenty of games that we're going to be talking about in future episodes and reviewing for you guys. And just, play them yourself to make your own decision. Our word is not law. I would love to stress that to people. Reviews are all opinions. So, sometimes if that game that got a bad score still has some kind of appeal to you, sometimes you just got to go out on a limb and make your own judgment and try it. But I 100% love Iron Rebellion. So I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend, if you got a VR headset, do yourself a favor, go on Steam, check it out. It's an amazing, amazing game. But anyway, we'd love to hear from you guys. So hit us up on our website, gzchopshoppodcast.com. And there you can find all of our episodes all in one nifty place, along with every link we have. And you can sign up for our newsletter to get a nice little snippet of all of our articles, episode information, tips on how to start your own podcast, and so much more. It's totally worth it. So go check it out. Sign up for it anyway. Anyway, we are out of here. Thank you so much for joining us in a new year. We look forward to bringing you guys more amazing episodes. Take care of yourself and each other. We'll catch all you wonderful people on the next podcast.